I recently saw this Reddit post on r/video editing asking how somebody did this effect. So I decided to give it a try. Before we can start making anything, let's first analyze the reference footage. The first thing we're going to need is a primary piece of footage. In this reference clip, they're using a shot of Tanjiro meditating on a rock. The second thing we're going to need is another sequence. This one you might have to make yourself. If you slow it down, you can see that it's a bunch of still frames of various action sequences put all together in a sequence, and it changes images about once per frame. You can see that right there. The third thing is an animated mask revealing that second shot. You can also notice that there is a stroke outlining the mask as well. And finally, the last thing we're going to need is a duplicate of the first shot where you rotoscope the foreground out. The foreground here would be this rock in Tanjiro. You can see as it comes through, you can see the different pieces that are rotoscoped. I recently watched Spice and Wolf and wanted to use clips from that show for this project. My primary piece of footage is this shot of Lawrence and Hollow traveling in their cart. To make my still frame sequence that I'm going to be putting in the background of this, I grabbed a bunch of different shots from the TV show and took screenshots that I liked. So like this shot of this wheat. So I would do this, take a screenshot, hit OK. Go through all this footage, grab a bunch of them, because remember, you're going to need a still frame for every single frame or so of this original footage. Once you have all the images that you want, make sure to grab all of them and then create a new sequence from this clip. But if you notice, if you hit play, each one of these PNGs will play for a duration of about 5 seconds. So the way that we get it to go much faster is you'll grab all these, right click, hit speed and duration, and then change this duration to, I've found that I like 2 frames per second, at least for the footage that I'm using. I believe he uses a duration of 1 frame though in the reference. So I'm just going to change it there. You can change it to whatever you would like. Now you can see it plays much faster. Now that we have both of our pieces of footage here, we can now head on over to After Effects to start rotoscoping. Since my shot has multiple things in the foreground, most notably this grass area, the horse, and then the cart and Hollow and Lawrence, I decided to break out my rotoscoping into 3 different parts. So one will be the grass. You can see right here. I use the roto brush tool to just grab this beginning area. Next would be the horse. So rotoscoped just the horse. And then lastly would be the cart, which has Hollow and Lawrence. With the foreground cut out, I could then just drop in my still frame sequence below the different foreground elements, but above the original piece of footage right there. The next step is to add your mask that you'll then be animating. For this, I just used a shape layer instead of a mask, because then I can get this stroke effect in here that I want. For it, I use a turbulent displace to kind of make the edges less straight, then animated it so that it kind of wiggles a little bit like how sometimes things do in anime. To get the shape layer then to become a mask, I just used a track matte. So select your still frame area, and then you're going to want to click your shape layer. Now you can see that it now acts as a mask. Next step will be to animate this mask across. This is where I diverge a little bit from the reference. In the reference, he just animates it to go across the screen. I thought that it would be interesting, since Hollow and Lawrence are moving forward in this right to left direction, to have the mask move at the same speed as they are, so it looks like they're passing through it. To do this, I used a tracker in After Effects, and I tracked the edge of this rock all the way across. You can see it just goes across. Then I applied only the X coordinates to that shape layer that I had before. And the end result then looks like this, with it moving seamlessly at the same rate as that rock. So to get that stroke back in, I duplicated the shape layer and I removed the white fill on it, so only the black stroke remained. This is the last step that we need to do in After Effects. So we're going to hop back over into Premiere Pro. For the music, I just used the Spice and Wolf OST, and I just simply looped it to make the effect a little bit longer. How do you think it turned out? Was there anything you do differently to recreate this effect? Let me know in the comments. Peace!